Dale Morrison pulled his 2008 Ford F-250 into the gravel parking lot of Blackwell Ranch Cattle Company in Guthrie County, Iowa. Monday morning, March 18th, 2024. The truck was clean but old, the paint faded, one taillight cracked. Dale himself looked unremarkable, age 52, wearing Wrangler jeans, a plain grey t-shirt under a Carhartt jacket, scuffed work boots. He walked into the office. Behind the desk sat Travis Blackwell, age 49, third-generation rancher, owner of 2,400 acres and the largest cattle operation in 3 counties. Travis wore a crisp white pearl snap shirt, new Levi's, $400 ostrich skin boots. His office walls displayed awards: Champion Bull 2019, Cattleman of the Year 2021, photos with state politicians. Travis looked up from his computer, saw Dale, immediately categorized him, small-time farmer, probably looking to buy 3 or 4 head for a hobby farm. "Help you?" Travis asked, polite but dismissive. "I want to buy 50 head of cattle. Today. Cash." Travis stopped, looked at Dale more carefully. 50 head wasn't a small purchase. At current market, quality Angus heifers running $1,950 per head, steers $1,650. 50 head meant $82,500 to $92,500, depending on mix. 50 head, Travis repeated. "You're serious?" "Completely serious." Travis leaned back in his leather chair, studied Dale, the worn clothes, the old truck outside, the weathered hands of someone who worked physically. This didn't look like a man with 90 grand in cash. Travis smiled, not warmly. "Sir, 50 head is a significant purchase. Do you understand the cost?" "I do." "And you want to pay cash? Today?" "That's correct." Travis laughed. Couldn't help it. "Friend, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but let's be realistic. 50 quality head runs $85,000 to $90,000. You're telling me you've got 90 grand cash and you're buying cattle today. From me." Dale's expression didn't change. "I have the money. Do you have the cattle?" Travis was amused now. This was the 3rd time this month someone had walked in making big claims they couldn't back up. Last week, a kid, couldn't have been 25, wanted to buy 40 head on credit. Before that, a retiree wanted to trade an old tractor for 30 head. "I have the cattle," Travis said. "Question is whether you have the money. Tell you what, why don't you go home, check your finances, maybe talk to a bank about a loan, then come back when you're ready for a real conversation." Dale reached into his jacket, pulled out a thick envelope, placed it on Travis's desk. "That's 10,000. Cash. Down payment. I have the rest in my truck. You show me quality Angus, heifers and steers, healthy, good genetics, and I'll pay full asking price. Today, now." Travis stared at the envelope, picked it up, opened it, $100 bills, counted quickly, $10,000 exactly. His smile faded. "You actually have 90,000 in your truck?" $87,500. For 50 head at $17.50 average. If they're worth more, I'll pay more. If they're worth less, we adjust." Travis stood up. "Wait here." He walked outside, looked at Dale's truck, saw Dale through the office window, standing calmly, hands in pockets. Travis walked to the truck, peered through the window, saw a large black bag on the passenger seat. Travis walked back inside. "Mr. Morrison, Dale Morrison." "Mr. Morrison, I apologize for my tone. I get tire kickers constantly, people who want to buy cattle but have no money. You clearly have money. Let's talk seriously." They sat. Travis pulled up his inventory. "I've got 68 head currently available, mix of yearling heifers and steers. Angus, good genetics, most from my own breeding program. What's your operation? Where are you running cattle?" "I farm 1,200 acres in Franklin County, mostly row crop, corn and beans. I'm diversifying into cattle, starting with 50 head. 1,200 acres is solid. What's your experience with cattle?" "None. That's why I'm starting with 50, not 500. I'll learn as I go." Travis was surprised. You're dropping 90 grand on cattle with zero experience. That's bold. I've farmed for 30 years, learned corn and beans by doing. I'll learn cattle the same way. Travis respected that. Stupid maybe, but bold. All right, let me show you what I've got. They spent 2 hours in Travis's pens. He showed Dale 53 head that met specifications. Healthy, good weight, decent genetics. 42 Angus heifers averaging 850 pounds, 11 steers averaging 920 pounds. Travis quoted prices: heifers 1,175 each, steers 1,125 each. Total $96,725 for 53 head. Dale countered, I only need 50. Give me 40 heifers and 10 steers. I'll pay $1,800 per heifer, $1,600 per steer. Total $88,000. Travis calculated $88,000 for 50 head. Below his asking, but reasonable for cash sale, no financing hassle, quick close. Deal. When do you want them delivered? Today. I've got a stock trailer coming at 2 p.m. I'll load them and go. Travis was impressed despite himself. This unremarkable-looking farmer was executing a major cattle purchase like a professional. They returned to the office, drew up a bill of sale. Dale went to his truck, returned carrying the black bag, unzipped it on Travis's desk. Cash, banded stacks of hundreds. Dale counted out $88,000 while Travis watched, stunned. Where did you get this money? Travis asked, curiosity overwhelming professionalism. Dale looked up. I saved it. You saved $88,000 farming. I've farmed for 30 years, saved every year. This is what happens when you don't spend. Travis wanted more explanation but didn't push. They completed the paperwork. By 2:15 p.m., Dale's hired stock trailer arrived. By 4:30 p.m., all 50 head were loaded and gone. Travis stood in his now empty pen, holding $88,000 cash, thinking about the farmer in the worn clothes who'd just executed the most efficient cattle purchase he'd seen in 20 years. That evening, Travis told his wife about it. Strangest sale I ever made. Guy looked broke, had 90 grand cash, bought 50 head like he was buying groceries. No negotiation, no drama, just business. His wife asked, What's his name? Dale Morrison, Franklin County. Morrison. I know that name. Let me check. She searched on her phone, found a Farm Bureau article from 2023. Dale Morrison, Franklin County, featured as one of Iowa's most financially stable farmers, owns 1,200 acres debt-free, estimated net worth $4.2 million. Travis felt his stomach drop. $4 million? The guy in the old truck. Says here he's famous for living frugally while accumulating massive wealth, drives old vehicles, wears plain clothes, saved millions through discipline. Travis felt foolish. He'd laughed at a multi-millionaire, assumed poverty based on appearance. The man he'd condescended to was worth 10 times what Travis was worth. The next day, Travis called Dale. Mr. Morrison, I wanted to apologize. I didn't know who you were yesterday. I was dismissive. That was unprofessional. Dale's voice was calm. You didn't know because I don't advertise. I dress how I'm comfortable, drive what I need. Most people assume I'm poor. I don't correct them. But why not? Because people treat you differently when they know you're wealthy. Some want favors. Some resent you. Some try to overcharge. I prefer to be underestimated. Life's simpler. But I laughed at you, called you unrealistic. You did. And then I showed you cash and you changed your tune. That's human nature. No hard feelings. Travis hung up, feeling like he'd learned something important. Don't judge wealth by appearance. The richest person in the room might look the poorest. 3 months later, June 2024, Dale called Travis. I need another 50 head. Same deal, cash. Can you supply? Absolutely. This time when Dale arrived, Travis treated him with respect from the first moment. No condescension, no assumptions, just professional service. As Dale loaded the second 50 head, Travis asked, "Can I ask you something personal? How did you save $4 million farming?" Dale considered whether to answer, decided Travis had earned honesty. "I started farming in 1994, bought my first 160 acres for $240,000, put down $40,000 I'd saved working construction, financed $200,000. My payment was $1,800 a month. Everyone told me to expand, buy more land, grow the operation. I didn't. I paid off that first 160 acres in 8 years instead of 20. By 2002, I owned it free and clear. Then I saved for 4 years, bought another 160 acres cash in 2006, no financing, owned 320 acres debt-free. Saved another 6 years, bought 240 acres cash in 2012, now owned 560 acres. Saved 5 more years, bought 320 acres cash in 2017, now owned 880 acres. Sold off 80 acres in 2020 for development, got $14,000 per acre, $1.12 million. Used that to buy another 400 acres at better farmland prices. Today, I own 1,200 acres free and clear, worth about $5 million. Plus I've got $2 million in cash and investments. Total net worth, $7 million, not $4 million like that article said. Travis was stunned. $7 million, and you're buying cattle to diversify? Exactly. I've put all my eggs in one basket, row crops. If corn and bean prices crash, I'm vulnerable. Cattle gives me another income stream. Different market, different risk profile. You could have just hired a manager, let them handle cattle while you golf. Dale smiled. I don't golf, I farm because I like farming. Adding cattle gives me something new to learn, keeps me engaged. Travis respected that. Dale, I misjudged you badly, I'm sorry. You're forgiven, but learn from it. The guy in worn boots might be wealthier than the guy in ostrich leather. That conversation changed how Travis viewed people. He started noticing things he'd missed before. Old trucks in the Walmart parking lot that probably belonged to farmers worth millions. Worn clothes on men buying parts at the co-op who owned thousands of acres. Plain appearances hiding massive wealth. Meanwhile, he saw farmers driving brand-new $80,000 trucks who were drowning in debt. Ranchers wearing designer boots who'd borrowed against everything. Wealth signaling from people who had nothing. Travis realized he'd been one of them. His $400 ostrich boots, his new truck, his fancy office, all image. His actual net worth, maybe $800,000, less than a tenth of Dale's. The farmer he'd laughed at was 10 times wealthier. The irony was painful. By December 2024, Dale had purchased 150 head total from Travis, established a solid cattle operation. His first-year revenues from cattle, $147,000 gross, $52,000 net after expenses. Not huge, but profitable and growing. More importantly, Dale had diversified successfully. His total income streams by end of 2024, row crop farming, $340,000 net, cattle operation, $52,000 net, investment income, $168,000, total $560,000 annual net income. At age 52, Dale was generating over $500,000 annually from diversified operations, all while looking like a small-time farmer in a worn-out truck. Travis learned the most valuable lesson of his career from Dale Morrison: never judge wealth by appearance. The rancher laughed at the farmer wanting 50 head, then saw the cash pile and learned humility. Sometimes the person you underestimate is the person you should be learning from. But the full story of how Dale Morrison built $7 million while looking poor, and how Travis Blackwell built image while building debt, deserves much deeper examination. Dale Morrison, The Invisible Millionaire, 1994-2024. Dale was born in 1972 to a working-class family in Waterloo. His father worked at John Deere factory. His mother was a school secretary. They weren't poor, but they weren't comfortable. Money was always tight. Dale learned early. Spending equals stress. Saving equals peace. At 18, he started working construction, made $11 per hour, worked 50 hours weekly, lived with his parents, paid minimal rent, saved obsessively. By age 22, he'd saved $40,000. In 1994, at age 22, Dale found 160 acres for sale in Franklin County. Asking price, $1,500 per acre, $240,000 total. He offered $240,000 with $40,000 down, seller financing on $200,000. The owner, an 80-year-old retiring farmer, accepted. Dale's payment, $1,800 monthly at 8.2% over 20 years. Dale farmed those 160 acres while continuing construction work winters. His farming income first 5 years averaged $18,000 net annually. His construction income, $14,000 in winters. Combined, $32,000. His payment, $21,600 annually. His living expenses, $8,400. He was short every year. How did he survive? 3 ways. First, he lived brutally cheap, rented a tiny farmhouse on the property for $200 monthly, included in living expenses, ate beans, rice, eggs, potatoes, wore thrift store clothes, drove a 1986 Chevy S10 he'd bought for $800. Second, he worked overtime construction every chance. Christmas, worked. New Year's, worked. 60-hour weeks became normal. The extra $8,000, $10,000 annually covered his shortfalls. Third, he didn't spend on anything non-essential. No cable TV, no eating out, no hobbies that cost money. His life was work, sleep, repeat. By 2002, 8 years instead of 20, Dale paid off the 160 acres. Age 30, owned land free and clear. Most farmers his age were just starting, still renting, accumulating debt. Dale was debt-free with ownership. Between 2002 and 2006, Dale saved aggressively. His farming income had grown, better genetics, better practices, better yields, netting $34,000 annually. Winter construction, $12,000. Total $46,000. Living expenses still minimal at $9,000. Savings $37,000 per year. 4 years, $148,000 saved. In 2006, Dale bought another 160 acres for $1,120 per acre, $243,200 total. Paid cash. Now owned 320 acres free and clear at age 34. Kept saving. 2006, 2012, 6 years saving $48,000 annually. Farming income growing. Construction dropped as farming demanded more time. Total saved $288,000. In 2012, bought 240 acres for $2,840 per acre, $681 to $600. Put down $288,000 cash, financed $393,600 at 4.8% over 15 years. Monthly payment, $3,045. High but manageable. Dale's net farming income by 2012, $87,000 annually from 320 acres. His payment, $36,540 annually. Plenty of margin. Paid extra aggressively. By 2017, 5 years instead of 15, paid off completely. Between 2017 and 2020, saved another $240,000. In 2020, an opportunity, a developer wanted to buy 80 acres of Dale's land for suburban expansion. Offered $14,000 per acre, $120,000. Dale sold. After capital gains tax, netted $952,000. Used that to buy 400 acres of premium farmland at $3,400 per acre, won $360,000. Paid $952,000 cash down, financed $408,000 at 3.2% over 10 years. Payment, $3,160 monthly, $47,520 annually. By 2024, Dale owned 320 acres from original purchases, free and clear. 240 acres from 2012 purchase, free and clear. 400 acres from 2020 purchase, owed $268,000, equity $1,092,000. Total, 960 acres owned, equity approximately $4.7 million at $5,000 per acre current value. plus another 240 acres rented. Dale's total land value, $4.8 million. Land debt, $268,000. Net equity, $453 million. Cash and investments, $2.4 million saved over 30 years. Total net worth, $6.93 million. Call it $7 million. All while driving old trucks, wearing plain clothes, living in a modest house. Travis Blackwell, The Indebted Showman, 2001-2024. Now examine Travis's path, the man who laughed at Dale, who looked wealthy but was drowning. Travis was born in 1975 to a ranching family. His grandfather started Blackwell Ranch in 1954. His father expanded it to 1,600 acres by 1995. Travis inherited the operation in 2001 when his father died. At age 26, Travis took over a successful 1,600-acre cattle ranch worth approximately $2.4 million, land at 1/500 the acre, plus cattle and infrastructure. He inherited it free and clear, no debt. His father had paid everything off. Travis had the foundation to build massive wealth, but he made different choices than Dale. Travis believed in growth, expansion, being the biggest. In 2003, he borrowed $800,000 to buy an additional 800 acres at $1,000 acre, now owned 2,400 acres, but had $800,000 debt. In 2006, grain prices spiked, land values soared. Travis's 2,400 acres were suddenly worth $4.8 million at $2,000 acre. He felt rich, borrowed $400,000 against equity to upgrade operations, bought new equipment, $180,000, built new ranch office, $95,000, bought new truck, $64,000, bought show cattle for competitions, $61,000. By 2008, Travis owed $1.2 million, $800,000 original plus $400,000 equity loan. His annual debt service, approximately $96,000. Then 2008 financial crisis hit. Cattle prices crashed, land values dropped. Travis's income fell from $240,000 annually to $156,000. He couldn't service debt, refinanced in 2010, extended terms, lowered payment to $78,000 annually, but total debt grew to $1.38 million with interest and fees. Through 2010s, Travis maintained appearance of success. New trucks every 3 years, designer boots, fancy office, sponsored local events, donated to visible charities. Everyone thought Travis was the richest rancher in the county. Reality, he was barely surviving. By 2024, Travis's financial situation, 2,400 acres worth $4.2 million at 1,750 acre, debt $1.52 million, original debt kept growing with refinancing and interest, net equity $2.68 million, annual debt service $84,000, annual net income after debt $122,000, good but not great for someone appearing wealthy. Travis looked successful, drove $75,000 trucks, wore expensive boots, had fancy office, but his actual net worth $2.68 million with significant annual debt burden. Dale looked poor, drove $8,000 trucks, wore plain boots, had no office, but his actual net worth $7 million with zero debt. The man Travis laughed at was nearly 3 times wealthier. The cattle purchase. Deeper context. When Dale walked into Travis's office in March 2024 wanting to buy 50 head, there was deeper context both men didn't initially share. Dale's reason for diversifying into cattle wasn't just financial diversification, it was personal. Dale's father had died in February 2024, heart attack at 76. On his deathbed, he told Dale, "Son, you saved $7 million. That's incredible. But you sacrificed everything. No wife, no kids, no life outside work. Don't let money be your whole life." That conversation haunted Dale. He was 52, single, isolated. He'd built wealth but missed life. Starting a cattle operation wasn't about money. It was about learning something new, connecting with other ranchers, having reasons to interact with people. Dale was trying to build a life, not just wealth. Travis, meanwhile, was selling cattle because he needed cash flow. His debt service was $84,000 annually. March was a tough month. Spring expenses hit before income arrived. He needed cash. When Dale offered to buy 50 head cash, Travis saw salvation. $88,000 immediate cash injection. Could make debt payments, cover expenses, survive another quarter. So when Travis laughed at Dale, it was partly nervousness. Could this shabby-looking farmer really have $90,000 cash? Or was this another waste of time? When Dale produced the cash, Travis felt relief getting money and humiliation, had judged completely wrong. The relationship development. After the first purchase, Dale and Travis developed an unlikely friendship. In April 2024, Travis called Dale. "How are the cattle doing?" "Good. Learning a lot, making mistakes, but figuring it out. Want some advice? I've been raising cattle 30 years. "I'd appreciate that." They met for coffee. Travis explained cattle management, breeding strategies, health protocols. Dale listened, asked intelligent questions, absorbed everything. Over subsequent months, they met regularly. Travis taught cattle ranching. Dale asked about Travis's operation. "How do you manage 2,400 acres?" Travis initially bragged, made it sound easy, profitable, successful, but over time, truth emerged. One evening in July 2024, drinking beer at Dale's modest farmhouse, Travis admitted, "Dale, I'm not doing as well as I look. I've got $1.5 million in debt. Service cost me $84,000 a year. I look successful, but I'm barely surviving." Dale didn't judge. "Why'd you borrow so much?" "I wanted to be the biggest, best facilities, most land, newest equipment. Thought that's what success looked like. And now I realize I confuse success with appearance. You're actually successful. No debt, huge net worth, total freedom. I just look successful, big debt, modest net worth, trapped by payments. You can change that." "How?" "I'm 49. Can't undo 20 years of bad decisions." Dale thought. "You can't undo them, but you can stop making new bad decisions. Stop borrowing, stop buying image, start saving. You've got 25 years until retirement. If you save aggressively from now, you'll retire comfortable." "What should I do specifically?" "Stop buying new trucks. Drive what you have until it dies. Stop buying designer boots. They don't make you a better rancher. Stop upgrading facilities unless essential. Save every extra dollar. Pay down debt aggressively." Travis knew Dale was right, but changing was hard. His identity was tied to image, being the flashy, successful rancher. Still, he started trying. In August 2024, his truck lease ended. Instead of getting a new $75,000 truck, he bought a used 2018 model for $38,000 cash. Hurt his ego but saved money. Stopped buying show cattle, expensive and unnecessary. Focused on commercial cattle that generated income. Stopped eating at expensive restaurants to impress business associates. Started packing lunches, small changes. But by December 2024, Travis had saved $28,000, first meaningful savings in 15 years. His debt was still $149 million, barely dented despite payments because interest was high, but his trajectory had changed, was finally moving towards solvency instead of deeper debt. The lesson spreads. The story of Dale and Travis spread through Iowa ranching community. People heard about the farmer who walked in with cash for 50 head. The rancher who'd laughed, then learned. Some ranchers mocked Travis. "You laughed at a guy 3 times richer than you, idiot." Others sympathized. "We've all misjudged people based on appearance." But most interestingly, young ranchers sought Dale out, asked his advice. "How did you build 7 million? How do we avoid Travis's mistakes?" Dale's advice was consistent. First, don't borrow unless absolutely necessary, and even then, borrow minimally. Second, don't confuse appearance with success. New truck doesn't make you successful. It makes you broke with a new truck. Third, live below your means, way below, save the difference. Fourth, expand slowly with cash. Don't race to be biggest, race to be most financially stable. Fifth, image is expensive. Success is profitable. Choose success over image. One young rancher, aged 28, told Dale, "I was about to borrow $300,000 to buy land and new equipment. After hearing your story, I'm buying just the land with my savings. Equipment can wait." Dale approved. "That decision will save you years of debt stress." The final transaction, December 2025. In December 2025, Dale called Travis with an unusual request. "Travis, I want to make an offer on your operation." Travis was confused. "You want to buy Blackwell Ranch?" "Part of it. You have 2,400 acres. I'll buy 1,200 acres, all your cattle and your equipment. Cash. You keep 1,200 acres debt-free. Why would you do that? Because you're trapped by debt. I can free you. Here's my offer. 4 million cash. You use it to pay off your 1.5 million debt. Keep the remaining 2.5 million. You keep 1,200 acres worth 2 million. Total, 4.5 million net worth. Zero debt. Travis did math. Currently, he had 2.68 million net worth with massive debt. Dale's offer gave him 4.5 million net worth with zero debt. That was better, much better. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you taught me about cattle, gave me knowledge worth far more than money, and because I can afford to help. I'm 53, have 7 million, no family. What am I saving for? Rather use money to help someone I respect." Travis was moved. "Dale, I don't know what to say." "Say yes. Retire from debt. Farm your 1,200 acres. Enjoy your life. Stop chasing growth you don't need." Travis accepted. Transaction closed, February 2025. By March 2025, Travis was debt-free for first time since 2003, owned 200 acres free and clear, had $2.5 million investments generating income, net worth $4.6 million, age 50. He could have retired. Instead, he ranched his 200 acres simply. No debt pressure, no growth obsession, just sustainable cattle ranching. His annual net income from simplified operation, $84,000, exactly what his old debt service had been. But now it was profit, not going to banks. The conclusion. The farmer walked into the rancher's office, wanting 50 head of cattle. The rancher laughed. Guy looked too poor to buy 5 head, much less 50. Then saw the cash pile, $88,000 in banded stacks. The laughter died. The lesson began. The shabby farmer was worth 7 million. The flashy rancher was worth less than 3 million and drowning in debt. Appearances deceive, always. Dale Morrison built 7 million farming 1,200 acres. Looked poor. Was rich. Travis Blackwell inherited success, borrowed heavily, looked rich. Was poor relative to his image. One man knew that wealth is built privately and displayed never. The other learned that image is expensive and success is cheap. By end of 2025, both men were in better places. Dale had diversified successfully, built friendships, found purpose beyond wealth. Travis had escaped debt, simplified his life, found peace. The rancher laughed at the farmer wanting 50 head, then saw the cash pile and learned the most important lesson: never judge wealth by appearance. Sometimes the richest person in the room drives the oldest truck. Sometimes the poorest person in the room wears the fanciest boots. And sometimes a pile of cash on a desk teaches more than a decade of business school ever could. The farmer said, "I want 50 head today." The rancher laughed, then saw 88,000 in cash and learned humility. That's the story, that's the lesson. That's what happens when you judge wealth by appearance and get proven completely wrong.